Pot him down, please, because this is another MAGA who doesn't understand how to have a conversation with somebody.
It's Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro.
I'm kind of a big deal.
This show will make you laugh, make you cry, and it might raise Brian's blood pressure.
You know what, dude? You know what, dude? People like you, all you do is make excuses for the orange turd, and I've had it.
All the smash and grabs and everything. Yeah, tell me, what race is doing that, first of all?
Okay, so you want to be a racist now? Okay.
What race is doing it? Seen it on the news?
I don't watch Klan TV like you do, sir.
Buckle up, because it's Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro.
You're different. I like you.
Now, here's Brian.
What's up, everybody? Happy Debate Tuesday. It is Pushing the Limits. Thank you so much for joining us. Big show lined up for you today. Of course, we're going to be previewing the vice presidential debate. You could be watching and listening on my YouTube page at PTL Radio Show, the website pushingthelimits.live, the Occupy Democrats Network, the Washington Press Network. We're on Twitch. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're on X. We're everywhere. And we appreciate you being a part of the program. Coming up here in just a few minutes to help preview the vice presidential debate tonight, we'll be joined by former Republican chair of the great state of Nevada, Amy Tarkanian. You may have seen her constantly on MSNBC and so many other national networks. She's a good friend, and she is no longer a Trump supporter. Amy Tarkanian will be joining us. What does Tim Walz need to do tonight? Well, I have some ideas on that, and we will certainly be getting to that in a little bit. Also going to be talking about how the local Nevada Republican Party here in Nevada, they're so upset that this naked 44-foot statue of Donald Trump has been shown to the general public. They're calling it out. It is interesting, though. Isn't it interesting that they won't call out liable sexual abuse? They won't call out those 34-count felons or attacking women or POWs. Anyway, we'll get to that story a little bit later, but it is interesting. So, as you all are aware, we had a horrible hurricane that has killed over 100 people. It's horrible. My thoughts and prayers go out to their families, and, lives have been devastated, right? Completely devastated. The damage has been done, and it's been horrible. So I feel for a lot of these people. So while all this stuff is going on, Donald Trump shows up yesterday, shaking hands, signing autographs, and taking the opportunity for photo ops and making it political and attacking Joe Biden and lying. What do I mean by that? Here is Joe Biden Joe Biden and Donald Trump yesterday. But this is Donald Trump lying, clearly lying in regards to Joe Biden's communication with Governor Kemp, caught in a red-handed lie. And I'll explain further why this is so dangerous. But here's Trump lying and then Kemp proving it in real time. Listen to this.
We do need some help from the federal government. They have to get together, ideally with the governor. That governor needs to, he's been trying to get them, and I'm sure they're going to come through. But he's been calling the president, hasn't been able to get him.
I just spoke, the president just called me yesterday afternoon. I missed him and called him right back. And he just said, hey, what do you need? And I told him, we got what we need. We'll work through the federal process. He offered that if there's other things we need, just to call him directly, which I appreciate that.
That's right. Kemp appreciates it. Donald Trump blatantly lying. And Joe Biden's angry. And I'm angry. Listen to Joe Biden's response when asked about these lies put forth by Donald Trump.
Mr. President and Governor Cooper, Donald Trump has accused both of you of ignoring the disaster.
He is lying. Let me get this straight. He's lying. And the governor told him he was lying. The governor told him he was lying. I've spoken to the governor, spending time with him, and he told me he's lying. I don't know why he does this. And the reason I get so angry about it, I don't care about what he says about me. I care what he communicates to the people that are in need. He implies that we're not doing everything possible. We are. And you spoke to the governor. I assume you heard the Republican governor of Georgia talk about that he was on the phone with me more than once. So that's simply not true, and it's irresponsible.
Yes, it is. Let me explain to all of you why this is beyond irresponsible. There are people without homes, struggling to get food and water. There are people that are grieving because they lost family members. And when they hear the former president of the United States lie, in this case saying that the governor is having problems getting in touch with the president of the United States, that will make their worries times two. It'll make things worse for them because now they think that their governor is not in touch with the president and they're not getting the aid that hopefully they will be getting. Do we understand that Donald Trump he's trying to score political points by lying, which he does every day. In this case, torturing and hurting even further people that have lost loved ones, people that have lost their homes, that are desperate. How can you not understand that? I don't care whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. I don't care what side of the political aisle you are on. The former president of the United States is lying, going to these sites where the hurricane just passed through, where so many people have lost their lives and are devastated, and he's lying about the president of the United States not being able to communicate with the governor of Georgia. Do we understand how despicable this is? Do we understand how dangerous this is? Do we understand that this is only for him to try to score political points and people that maybe are ill-informed will believe it? Oh, wow, Joe Biden's not reaching out to these governors. Oh, wow, he's not helping us. When there was a hurricane that happened in 2017 and Governor Cooper asked for help, Donald Trump gave him 1% of what he asked for. If you don't believe me, you could look this up for yourself. Joe Biden has done everything and anything that these governors have asked for. If you don't believe me, listen to them. They've said they've asked, and he's come through for them. Everything that they have asked for, including Kemp, who you just heard. But yet Donald Trump wants to show up and just score political points. You think he's there to help people? If anything, he's hindering people because he's taking photo ops with these FEMA workers while they could be helping people, signing autographs and taking photo opportunities and selfies. It's despicable. And I love Jessica Tarnoff on Fox News. I think she does an absolutely fantastic job. And members of the Five were silent. Why? Because Jessica reiterated a lot of what I just said. Have a listen to this.
Jessica, how do you see it? Dramatically differently from how my colleagues see it. So just a couple notes. Trump closes strong in Georgia. He lost Georgia. So I guess if someone had found him 11,237 votes, it would have gone better, but he's a loser there.
I meant by
Starlink.
campaign activity.
Oh, he shows up a lot and people see him and then they vote against him. Starlink, there are 40 satellites that are already going. In Maui, by the way, the $700 was the FEMA limit. So Donald Trump and his supporters are running the same old tired playbook that they did with Maui and they did with East Palestine. So not only was Joe Biden on top of this, he signed the disaster declarations even before the storms hit to make sure that there would be no delay in goods and services. Donald Trump's social media posts contain blatant lies, like Governor Kemp can't reach the president. Governor Kemp gave a press conference yesterday where he said, I just spoke to the president. He has promised me every single thing that I need. McMaster from South Carolina, also a conservative, getting everything that he wants, and then Roy Cooper as well. And there's only one president that we are talking about who actually has denied relief for one of these states. In 2017, Roy Cooper asked after Hurricane Matthew for a lot of money, and he got 1% of his ask. They denied 99% of what he was asking for after that hurricane came. There are 3,300 FEMA personnel there, 5,500 National Guardsmen from 11 states, and search and rescue from 19 states. That doesn't reduce the devastation of this and how horrific it is, but to say that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are out to lunch during this, or they're sitting on a beach reclining there, they are clearly giving them what they need. They will be showing up when it is appropriate. And it's different for Donald Trump, who is not in office. He's just a guy trying to be president again to show up and throw some bounty at people versus someone who's actually the commander in chief and doesn't want to distract from what's going on. And as Dana said, Governor Cooper said, I will let you know when it is appropriate for you to come. And same goes for Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, all of it.
Those are absolute facts that cannot be denied. And everyone on the far right, maybe not everybody, but a lot of the MAGA far right imbeciles, where's Joe Biden? He's on the beach. Where's Joe Biden? Why isn't he there? First of all, there are governors that have been communicating with Joe Biden when it would be appropriate for him to be there. Right now, it would be a distraction, like what Donald Trump did yesterday. Right now, it would be a distraction. So I go by what I said earlier, which is the facts are Joe Biden has done everything possible right now to allow these governors to get the funds that they need and the assistance that they need in going through the process of getting what they need. And if you don't believe me, you can listen to what they have to say, including Republican Governor Kemp and others. This was a lie by Donald Trump. It was just a despicable lie to try to score political points, saying that Joe Biden was struggling to get in touch with the governors, including Governor Kemp. That was a lie. I played the audio. And he doesn't care about these people that have been injured or even killed and the families that are grieving. He cares more about scoring political points, or maybe he'll throw out some bounty today. I don't know. It's despicable. It's disgusting, but I wouldn't expect anything less from Donald Trump and his MAGA supporters. That is for sure. So joining us on the show right now, as I mentioned, we have the vice presidential debate tonight. I do think it's very, very important. Will it move the needle? I'm not so sure. But to ask her this question and many, many others is someone who actually in Florida right now, so hopefully she's doing okay. Of course, my friend and the former chair of the Nevada Republican Party, Amy Tarkanian, joining us right now on the show. Amy, it's good to see you. Pleasure. How are you?
I'm good. I'm one of the very fortunate who actually had her power stay on all night, even though it was flickering. I'm literally 5 minutes though up the road from where some friends of mine had the unfortunate situation of their house being completely flooded. There were catfish in their pool. There was crabs in their garage. They had at least 3 feet, if not higher, amount of water destroy the downstairs portion of their house. Their cars are totaled. I was just on Anna Maria Island about an hour ago, which just reopened. There's military placed out there handing out water, food, tarps, blankets. It's been pretty awful actually to see what a lot of these people have had to go through, but at the same time, really wonderful to see everyone come together.
I agree. Nice to see people coming together for the good of the American people. And obviously my thoughts and prayers are for all those people that have been affected, and the loss of life is horrible. Amy, before we get to the vice presidential debate, I do want to stay on topic and ask you about this. You know, Donald Trump out there yesterday lying, saying that Joe Biden wasn't reaching out to Governor Kemp. And of course, Kemp confirmed that that was not the case. What do you make of the former president of the United States, again, trying to score political points and lying about communications between the current president and governors during this horrible crisis?
I think it's absolutely terrible. And quite honestly, all it's doing is stirring the pot. It's making people angry when they don't need to be angry. There's so many other problems going on in the world that he's just creating more of a mess. And it's unfortunate because there are so many people who rely upon what our leaders have to share. And, you know, not everyone gets to sit there and watch and scroll through X all day long and try to keep up on what's going on, what current events are happening. Nobody gets to just sit there all day long unless they're retired and watch the news. So when they hear these 30-second blurbs, they believe them. And it causes a lot of havoc. And so, you know, you have President Biden, who, yes, at one point, I guess he was on the beach, but whatever. And then he was back at the White House, and they have everything planned now for him to fly over North Carolina and assess the damage. He's not going to land because it would cause more havoc, and it's not the right thing to do. And so the White House understands that. So whether if you have a Democrat or a Republican in the White House, the people who know what's best during an unfortunate situation like this know that you don't land a plane. You don't try to bring in a motorcade. I mean, that's not helpful. So they just need to take a look, see what kind of assistance, government assistance, do they need, and then go from there. That's it, plain and simple. And then just let the people know that we're here for you.
Amy, so well said. Why is it so difficult for some MAGA supporters to simply understand what you just said, which is You don't want a motorcade there. You
Mm-mm.
don't want a distraction. You don't want photo ops and autographs and selfies. This is about the people. Why is it that there are so many MAGA supporters out there that fail to understand that, and they want to criticize Joe Biden? Where is he? He's not there. The former
Yeah.
president is there. Why is that?
I'm not sure, and I think it's terrible because it starts from the top, right? So you've got Donald Trump who's constantly lobbying these unfounded verbal attacks, and so you've got people who want to believe it, and they believe every word that he says. Unfortunately, just because they're not happy with the opposing side, and that causes a big problem. You have also people, unfortunately, on social media who are believing a lot of this artificial intelligence that is being put out there, and people are reposting a picture of former President Trump wading through the water, trying to, search and rescue individuals, and that's not true. There's another one that's being shared where he's climbing an electric pole, trying to fix the cell phone problem that happened with Verizon. I mean, people are really dumb, and they're believing this stuff, and it's crazy.
You're right about that. I repeat what you just said every single day. There are a lot of dumb people out there that don't seem to understand the president's responsibilities and when he should or shouldn't be in a specific situation. You are 150% correct. All right. With that all being said, let's talk a little bit about the vice presidential debate tonight. Tim Walz versus J.D. Vance. Tim Walz allegedly has been telling his close orbit around him that he is very nervous.
Yeah.
I did find that interesting, not because he's nervous. I think anybody would be nervous. I don't care whether you're Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, anybody, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, anybody back in the day. It's natural to be nervous.
Yep.
I just found it interesting that that story became public, and apparently he's told a lot of people that he's nervous. What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, that makes him a real person, right? I mean, that's relatable. You and I have done television, radio, 1,000 times, but I can still tell you, if there's a topic that comes up that maybe I'm not so well versed on, I get nervous. I'm sure you do too. And that's just, it's a natural response. And so I think it's wise that he's been prepping with Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg. He is actually probably one of the best, if not the best right now, in the business when it comes to improv and having really excellent answers to a lot of questions that maybe people, aren't as well versed on. And he does a really good job at breaking things down. I don't want to say like, at a third grade level, but at a level where it doesn't go over your head. And so to be able to practice and rehearse with somebody who is that talented, I think is only going to benefit him. And I don't know who, maybe I don't know who Senator Vance has been prepping with.
Hubba, Attorney Hubba. I'm not kidding.
Oh, really?
She put out a picture on her social media. Apparently she's helping J.D. Vance prep. Yeah, Attorney Hubba. I don't know about you, Amy, but I'd much rather have Pete Buttigieg helping me in debate prep than somebody like Attorney Hubba.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe she can continue to help him take selfies and look really, sexy in her photos and his photos. I don't know. I mean, she's a pretty lady, and I'm sure she's smart, but she doesn't seem to be even very well liked by her own client. I mean, former President Donald Trump at one point, lashed out at his team of attorneys, and so I don't know if I would have chosen her. But that's just me.
I want to get your perspective on this, to be fair. I know you're not a big Kamala Harris fan, even though at one point you were a Trump supporter, and obviously you won't be voting for Donald Trump now, just to give people some context. Mm-hmm. Kamala Harris, and we'll get back to the debate, but it reminded me, I wanted to ask you about this. She visited the border. Now, some people will say, supporters, that's a great thing. She spoke to border security and it was great. People on the right, people that don't like her will say it was a photo op. Why did she wait this long to go down there? What do you say?
I say all of that. I think, still better late than never. But it is very late in the game, and it does, smell fishy, which is unfortunate because it is a massive problem. And I think that, she should have done this early on, probably maybe even from the start. and then that way would have calmed everyone down to some extent. But I guess at this point, the race is extremely close, and we're not sure, if the vote were taken today, who would win.
Sure.
So, I think at least it shows that she's finally jumping on the bandwagon on that issue. And so if she does end up being the next president, then we know, okay, well, she's gonna tackle it.
Yeah.
So,
but Amy, I bring that up, Amy, because you know that JD Vance is going to hit that home. He's going to continue to talk about calling her the border czar, and he's going to, going after Tim Walz. I would imagine that's certainly something that JD Vance will bring up. If I'm Tim Walz, I put out a video on social media earlier today about this. I talk about the fact that this is the man who said Donald Trump could be the next American Adolf Hitler. This is the man. Right. You got to bring that up. You got to bring up the fact that this eating the dogs and the cat stuff has terrorized Springfield, Ohio. And it's because of JD Vance and Donald Trump. They are the culprits. I'm not even going to blame the woman who started it in Springfield, because she since has apologized for it. And that wouldn't have become a national story if JD Vance and Donald Trump didn't repeat those lies, right? So I'm not going to blame her. It's JD Vance and Donald Trump and people with large platforms. He's got to bring that up as well. The childless cat lady comments, attacking everybody in this country for not having kids. I think Walz has a lot of firepower. Listen, he's going to have to talk about his record. He's going to have to talk about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's record, which I think he's more than capable of doing. But I think he has to be aggressive. I don't know, Amy, which Tim Walz we're going to see. Are we going to see an aggressive Tim Walz that's going to go after JD Vance the way that Kamala Harris did in that debate a few weeks ago? Or are we going to see a nice Tim Walz? I want to see an aggressive.
I think he's going to have to walk a fine line, Brian, because I think both men have a tendency to come across as mean aggressive and also very nice. And so there's two sides to both of them. And if Coach Walz can remain level-headed and calm and not maybe use a coach voice or use a very stern, angry, or mad teacher voice, since we know that's his background, then I think he'll be able to get his point across just fine. Whereas I think also Senator Vance has that same streak in him. So you have both men who I think are going to have to really watch their tones very carefully, or else they're going to come across as not just aggressive, but as jerks. And that's what you don't want.
I agree. And I think JD Vance could come across more like that and say something stupid than maybe Tim Walz. But, I gave everybody my prediction before the Harris Trump debate. And by the way, before the Biden debate, I was concerned. I said that on the air. I was concerned. And I think my concerns, unfortunately, came true there, or maybe fortunately, depending on your outlook of it. I said that Kamala Harris would absolutely wipe the floor clean with Donald Trump, and she absolutely did so. And we've talked about that. My prediction on this debate is I don't think it's going to move the needle anyway. I don't think either of them are going to score massive points. And it's not because I don't like Tim Walz. I just think it's going to be, level keel. And if you're on the far right, you'll probably say that Vance won. If you're on the left, you'll say that Walz won. I could be wrong on this, and we'll have to wait and see. But just like a prediction to a game, right? I don't think there's going to be a clear winner here. I think it's not going to move the needle. What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know how much of the needle it's going to move, but I kind of have a feeling that there will be a winner. You've got two men who are polar opposites on where they stand on the issues. You've got Governor Walz, who is extremely progressive on social issues, where Senator Vance is extremely conservative, so much to the point where most women who are centrist and in the middle can't handle him, despise him, and are willing to go with somebody who's extremely progressive because it deals with reproductive rights, it deals with LGBTQ issues, it deals with just an array of areas where people just want to be left alone, and Senator Vance is more wanting to tell you what to do, and that's not going to bode well.
Right.
So I think really in the end, both men are out there right now kind of setting the bar low. By you mentioned that Governor Walz is saying, "Oh, I'm nervous. And then you've got Senator Vance out there saying, oh, I think I've got this. I'm not so sure. I'm going up against somebody who's seasoned. I think that both of them are intentionally doing that, so that way we don't come in thinking that one's going to have it in the bag over the other in case one falters to some extent.
Yeah.
But I do have a feeling. I think that there's probably going to be a winner, but I agree with you. I still think in the end you're going to have those who are devoted to either candidate are going to stick with their candidate. It's not going to really move the needle much, except for maybe some of those who are in the middle still.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just think on some of the issues, not all of them, the overwhelming majority of the Americans will take Tim Walz's side. Gun control, abortion. I mean, these are issues where the Democrats have a huge edge, at least in my opinion. And we know that Donald Trump on a debate stage refused to say whether, if there was an abortion ban put on his desk, if he's president, whether he would veto that bill. He wouldn't answer that question. When he was asked about Ukraine, who do you want? This was even mesmerizing to me. He was asked, who do you want to win the war? Ukraine or Russia? And he wouldn't answer the question. I just feel like there's so much within the ticket of the Trump Vance ticket where Tim Walz has so much to go after Vance. And I hope he does. I just don't know which Tim Walz we're going to see. And we'll have to, I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. From your perspective, is there anything that Tim Walz can say? Is there anything that Tim Walz can do? And I ask you this question every single time you come on this show. I know you're not voting for Donald Trump. I don't know where your head is at right now when it comes to Kamala Harris, but is there anything that can happen tonight that maybe could sway your vote and say, well, I'm going to vote for Harris. I'm not voting for Trump, but I'm going to vote for this ticket.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he could actually say. I just hope that he presents himself in a very statesman-like manner, with still, mixed with a healthy dose of aggression. I do not care for Senator Vance and his stances. I think the fact that he has flip-flopped, not just in a way where one can sit there and evolve over time, and maybe re-educate themselves on certain issues. But the fact that, and you mentioned this at the very beginning, to call former President Trump America's Hitler, literally within just a few years' time, and then now all of a sudden he's like the best president since sliced bread. He's an opportunist. And he's done that now in a number of areas. And I'm not comfortable with that. I would much rather have somebody who may be more progressive than what I'd like in certain areas, but I know where he stands and I know what I'm getting.
Yeah, sure. No, that makes sense. Opportunist. I would say many that still support Donald Trump today that are in office, they're exactly what you just mentioned. They are opportunists. I want to ask you one more question to get the female's perspective on this, because I was talking a little bit about this yesterday on the air. So as you know, Amy, J.D. Vance's wife is Indian, right? She's an accomplished woman, attractive, smart, a lot of great qualities. She has, very educated. And Laura Loomer was invited to Donald Trump, inviting her to the 9/11 ceremonies. This is a woman who recently said on social media, quoting, that if Kamala Harris gets back into the White House, it'll smell like curry. And when J.D. Vance was asked about this on national television, he got very defensive. And then he said, quote, doesn't matter whether you're eating curry or fried chicken in the White House. That was his response. And I'm wondering, from a female's perspective, how could a woman, in this case, Mrs. Vance, stand by her husband, especially coming from the fact that she is an Indian woman? How can, just your perspective on that?
I don't know. It just seems that, there's no bottom for Trump and Vance. They just keep digging their own grave. And I think, Vance even took it further and said something like, oh, I make a mean curry. It's stupid. It wasn't well thought out at all. It came across as, doubling down on racism. It was lacking empathy. And I think that's what the two of those men, that's why they feed off of each other. They're exactly two peas in a pod. They're opportunists who lack empathy, and they're narcissists. And, I don't know how his wife continues to stomach somebody who make such off-colored statements time and over again.
I mean, I'm not one really to give a lot of advice on relationships, but maybe she should take a page from the Melania Trump playbook and live in another state and don't be in the same bedroom, for decades. And, Melania seems to be doing okay, I guess, separating herself from Donald. But anyway, Amy, always appreciate your perspective. Interested to get your take on this debate after it happens tonight. Always a pleasure having you on. Glad you're safe out there in Florida. Please stay safe, and always great to talk to you, Amy. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks for having me. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later, Amy. Love having her on. Good friend, wonderful person. Love her commentary, political commentary. Of course, I'm talking about Amy Tarkanian. She is the former Nevada Republican chair. She's not ready to vote for Kamala Harris, at least not yet, but she is 100% not voting for Donald Trump, and I consider that a win, no doubt about it. All right, so here's what we are going to do. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will take your phone calls at 702-221-7283. There's a lot we can talk about, but I want to stick to a few topics. The vice presidential debate tonight. What do you want to see from Tim Walz? What do you want to see from J.D. Vance? Also going to ask you about your thoughts on Donald Trump's lies. Going to these states where so many of these citizens are struggling and suffering, and Donald Trump lying about the interaction or lack thereof that he claimed that Joe Biden was having with Governor Kemp. Get your thoughts on that as well. 702-221-7283. Programming note, I guess. I will be doing, people ask me, are you going to be doing post-debate coverage? Well, Don Lemon, I'm lucky enough that Don Lemon invited me on his Don Lemon show tonight. I will be on his show tonight, right after the debate. And that is where you will hear from me direct after the debate coverage, for lack of a better term. So I will be on the Don Lemon show tonight, giving my post-debate coverage with him, and I'm honored to be on his show. Also, honored to have all of you out there listening. What do you want to do to help us out? Well, check out our website, pushingthelimits.live. Again, that website is pushingthelimits.live, where you can sign up for my free newsletter, support what we do. This is a independently owned radio show. It costs money to keep the lights on. So we sell merchandise on there, shirts, hats, beanies, whatever you name it, we sell it. If you don't want to buy merchandise, no problem. You could also donate right on the front page there. There's a donate button. Doesn't matter what it is, $5, $10, $20, anything we appreciate. So check out that website, pushingthelimits.live, and we appreciate your support. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to be hearing from you, the most interactive talk show in the country. That's right, Pushing the Limits. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
In these uncertain times, we need a leader who puts policy over politics.
I'm Ron Quince. I am beyond the bickering and what we see today. I am running to fight for your values, faith, family, and freedom.
Ron Quince stands for safe borders, lower taxes, and lower prices.
Let's take our country back, one community, one vote at a time. I am Ron Quince, and I'm asking for your vote because every vote matters. I am Ron Quince, and I approve this message.
Have you ever dreamed of having your own radio show or a podcast, but just didn't think it was possible? Well, dreams can come true. Radio U. Radio U is a 5-day course that'll teach you how to acquire your dream show. We'll teach you how to host, how to write commercial, how to interview, how to market, how to write a contract, and most importantly, how to monetize your dream radio show. You'll learn from some of the best in the business with over 75 years in broadcast experience. You'll learn from people like me. And the best part? Every single student will be live on the radio as part of the class. Plus, one student from each class will get their very own radio show. You'll be live on the air right here in Las Vegas. Radio U. The 5-day course is being offered at $699. For more information, give Radio U a call. 702-763-5024. That's 702-763-5024. Or check them out at radioyou101.com.
Tired of the same old date night? Craving a deeper connection with your partner? O-Box is your escape into a world of romance and passion. Each month, discover a box filled with personalized surprises, exciting activities, and a love story written just for the two of you. Ignite desire, share laughter, and make memories that last a lifetime. Your O-Box journey culminates into a beautiful love novel. Ready to write the first thrilling chapter? Let the O-Box adventure begin. Visit our website, obox.com. That's OBOXXX.com and get started.
Hello, I'm Ron Quince, and I'm running for Congress as a nonpartisan candidate in District 1. I'm dedicated to serving our entire community. In this challenging time, it's more important than ever to have leaders who focus on unity and progress. I believe in putting people over politics and finding practical solutions that benefit us all. Never stop believing in America, no matter our troubles and turmoil. We can and we will do better. We must be brave. Stop voting for those politicians who care about their career and gaining power but don't improve our lives. I believe in America and I believe in you. You need a candidate who believes in policy over party because you deserve better. In Nevada, every voice matters. I humbly ask for your vote this coming election, November 5th. To learn how we can create a better America, please visit quincefornevada.com. Paid for by Ron Quince for Congress.
All right, welcome back. Pushing the limits on a Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, my appreciation to Amy Tarkanian, the former Nevada Republican chair. Always does a great job. Appreciate her coming on. Also want to thank the official gaming bar of the Pushing the Limits radio show, which, of course, is Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. Great promotions over there at Jackson's. Great gaming promotions, of course, with the Vegas Golden Knights season upon us, the Pass the Puck contest where you can win free play just for sitting there and playing and watching a Vegas Golden Knights game. Great food, great atmosphere. Check them out, Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. So before we get back to our phone calls, and we're going to focus on, of course, the vice presidential debate, which is upon us tonight. On the West Coast, I believe it starts at 6 p.m. On the East Coast, of course, that would be 9 p.m. Before we get to that, you might have seen this image. It made TMZ. It made the rounds across social media, and it's a 44-foot statue of the incredible manly and sexually, what's the word I would look for? I was going to try to say something positive about Donald Trump and his physique, but I just can't find the words. So I'll just let you decide on that one. But anyway, the statue of Donald Trump, 44 feet, nude, naked, showing his genitalia and all, if anybody wanted to see that. So the Nevada Republican Party put out a statement strongly condemning what they call the deplorable statue of President Donald J. Trump. Now, I want to read this statement for you, and then I'll comment on it. The Nevada Republican Party strongly condemns the deplorable statue of President Donald J. Trump recently hung from a crane along Interstate 15. While families drive through Las Vegas, they're forced to view this offensive marionette designed intentionally for shock value rather than meaningful dialogue. President Trump and Republicans are focused on delivering results that matter, reducing inflation, securing our... Okay, I can't even read the rest. It makes me want to vomit. First of all, where were your condemnations? Where were you when Donald Trump attacked POWs? Where were you when Donald Trump attacked women on looks? Where were you when Donald Trump was found liable for sexual abuse, the judge characterizing it as rape? Why didn't you condemn January 6th? Where were you when those in this state and many states across the country were involved in alleged fake electorate schemes? Why weren't you condemning any of that stuff? Where are you today? Are you condemning Donald Trump when he went to the site of a terrible hurricane where so many people lost their lives and lied about communications between Joe Biden and Governor Kemp? Did you condemn any of that stuff? Have you ever condemned Donald Trump for anything when he said grab him by the P word? No. Because like many Republicans in this country, they are cowards and they are hypocrites. They won't condemn Donald Trump for anything. They won't condemn him for his attacks on minorities. They won't condemn him for his attacks on people of the Jewish faith, people of the Christian faith. You all need to get your head examined, he said, if you don't support me. But the Nevada Republican Party, just like many other Republican parties across the country will not condemn Donald Trump for anything because they all wear the Donald Trump knee pads and they all kiss the ring of Donald Trump. But God forbid if somebody, an artist in this case, makes a 44-foot statue of Donald Trump that happens to be nude, and by the way, pretty accurately most likely describes his body. I don't know what he looks like naked, and I don't want to know what he looks like naked, but I think it pretty accurately describes his physique. But they strongly condemn it so much that they put out this statement. But any of the stuff that Donald Trump does, whether it be inciting violence or say, I'd like to rough that guy up, or attacking women, or saying these Mexicans crossing the border, they're rapists and they're criminals, and I suppose some of them are good people. The list goes on and on, attacking John McCain's service. They won't condemn any of that stuff. They'll talk about drag queens. They'll talk about banning books, and they'll attack our teachers because they're all indoctrinating our kids, right? They'll condemn all that stuff. But when it comes to gun violence in this country, thoughts and prayers, no policy. Ladies and gentlemen, when people tell you, or at least try to tell you who they are, believe them. The Nevada Republican Party can shove this up their rear with their condemnations. They have zero credibility. They have people that run for office who tell black people that are running for office that they should be hanging from a crane. That's right. One Republican that ran for office as Attorney General told her black opponent that he should be hanging from a crane. Funny, we didn't see the Nevada Republican Party condemning those statements, did we? What's more harmful, you think? Now, a national story, Michelle Fiore, who's a MAGA moron, is probably going to go to jail for stealing money. When she put panties over her face during COVID, mocking people for wearing masks, did the Nevada Republican Party condemn her behavior? No. When Michelle Fiore slut-shamed the wonderful wife and mother that I just had on the show, first segment, Amy Tarkanian, because Amy didn't support her candidacy. Did the Nevada Republican Party condemn that? No. Because they have no backbone and they're cowards and they have no credibility. But the second somebody, an artist in this case, makes a 44-foot tall Donald Trump, they'll condemn it and they'll say it's the worst thing in the world. Oh my God, all the families that are driving by. Let me tell you something. This gave a lot of people a lot of entertainment. I'm sure a lot of kids saw this and said, who's that, Daddy? Who's that, Mommy? That's funny. I'm sure it provided people a lot more good than bad in very difficult times where maybe people had a smile on their face. I know Republicans that saw this story and they laughed. They thought it was funny. But the Nevada Republican Party wants to condemn it. It's the worst thing in the world, right? Just like drag queens. They're the worst. They're indoctrinating our kids. Oh, really? Do you want to talk about gun control? Oh, no, let's not talk about that. More guns make us safer. These people are dangerous. They're dangerous for this country. There are attacks on the gay community. There are attacks on transgenders. There are attacks on drag queens. There are attacks on women, quite frankly. They want to tell you what to do with your own bodies. I am sick of these people. They are the biggest hypocrites in the world. And they think this sculpture of Donald Trump, or whatever you'd like to call it, that's 44 feet tall, is so horrible that the Nevada Republican Party has to put out a statement and condemn it. Liable rapist? That's okay. We'll support that guy. That's all right. Attacking our POWs, calling them suckers and losers, attacking women on looks? That's okay. We don't need to put a statement out for that. But God forbid if somebody makes a 44-foot tall sculpture of Donald Trump, oh, that's just the worst thing in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the Republican Party in 2024, and all you guys can shove it. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. All right. Who are we going to first here? 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Who are we going to first here? Let's go to DJ. DJ is first up on PTL. Hey, DJ, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
My first time calling in.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm 28 years old. I'm calling from Austin, Texas. First and foremost, I really appreciate what you do, man, every day.
Thank you.
Bringing light, to these issues. I know it's really appreciative. But I can tell you one thing. As far as the vice presidential debate, if Tim Walz had to ask, me, advice,
yeah,
I'll just tell him to be confident. Just be confident. You put in the work. You're well prepared. don't worry about any nonsense that JD Vance on the other side throws out there. Don't feed into it. And know when to attack him. When he says something crazy, attack him. Attack him with facts. Attack him with integrity, though. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're right. I think you're right, and I think take a page from the Kamala Harris playbook. I think she did a superb job last month, and I think if he can have that kind of performance, which I think he's capable of doing, then I think it'll be a win for Democrats. I do.
Exactly. And like I said, I've had the privilege of now. This will be my third election that I'll be voting in. I'm 28, so. Every election I voted in has been against Trump. So,
well, you're on the right side, my man. You're on the right side. If you don't mind me asking you, what is your demographic, if you don't mind?
I am African American, Brian. I'm black.
Got you. So let me ask you this question then. When Donald Trump was doing an interview from that barber shop, if you recall, and he said he can relate to black people more, and black people, I guess, could relate to him more because of his mugshot. As an African-American man living in this country, what went through your mind when you heard him say that?
Brian, listen, I know, I would love to use some choice words, but out of respect for your radio show, I'm not going to use those words, but just know it frustrated me to a very high degree.
Yeah.
And what's funny about that too is that I was having a conversation with a MAGA supporter, right? Yeah. And they were trying to talk to me about what Trump has done for black people, and I said, okay, let's have that conversation, right? How much money did Donald Trump donate to HBCUs?
Yeah.
Of course, they didn't know the answer.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, he donated $250 million. Now guess how much Biden. And guess how much the Obama administration did?
Mm-hmm.
$4 billion for the Obama administration, 1.3 for the Biden and Harris administration.
That's nice to hear.
Just
I'm not
like
surprised.
Yep,
I'm not surprised, my friend.
Is that what,
yep.
So is that what really is he really doing what you guys think he's doing for the black community?
No, he's not.
I'm not sure.
But you are informed. You are an informed man, educated, informed man. You know what's going on here. You are, people want to call us woke. Well, if that means we're awake to our surroundings and we know what's going on,
exactly.
But that is why Donald Trump might not even get 10% of the black vote. So we know that. So, exactly. Well, I appreciate you, my man, and I appreciate you calling in. You please call back anytime, okay? I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. You have a good one, my friend. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Pez. Pez is next up on PTL. Hey, Pez.
Hey, what's going on, Brian? Good show, man, as usual. Just wanted to touch base with you again.
Sure.
On the hurricane response. I guess to use the word despicable, we need to invent a new word, but you would expect the GOP to learn from history, right? So George Bush, his political career pretty much ended based on his Katrina response and lack thereof.
Yeah.
And to have someone on your campaign come up with a bright idea to go down to a hurricane devastated city for a photo op, pick up a bunch of bricks from a building that was destroyed in the background, create a small podium with it so he can do a photo op. It's beyond despicable. And I got to be honest with you, I fully expected to see bricks being sold on the Trump website from the disaster.
Did you see? I agree with you. So did you see, my friend? Did you see the bricks that they put up at the near the podium where he spoke yesterday? Did you see that setup?
That's the ones I was referring to.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I apologize. Yeah. Can you imagine that either he or somebody in his campaign said, "Hey, we're going to have the president speak here. I want someone to set up some bricks." Like, what an idiot. Like, can you imagine thinking that in your head? That had to be Donald Trump's idea, right? I mean, what an imbecile that he made people do that.
And, the fact that no one on the campaign had the idea to say, you know what, let's go down there and let's talk about unity and let's talk about the response to help everybody. Let's drop the partisan arrow shooting and maybe we'll get a little bit more spin off of it.
Right.
The fact that they didn't come up with that idea shows you how delusionally stupid him and his crew actually is.
I agree. But you know what? The pathetic thing about this is he can't. He's not capable. He's not capable of showing any empathy, maybe lasting longer than 5 seconds. He's not capable of doing something that does not benefit him and him only. So I appreciate your call, sir. Very well said. And I'm glad he brought that up, by the way, about the bricks in front of the podium where Donald Trump was speaking, that people had to actually set that up for him like he's some sort of king. You know, the wannabe evil murderous dictator himself, Donald Trump. Thank you for the call. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Mark. Mark is next up on PTL. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Brian. Just two things. One real quick thing about the debate tonight. I'm not sure why Walz and the campaign agreed to another debate without fact checking. I don't understand that part.
Well, I don't either, and I agree with you. I think in any debate, the moderators have a responsibility to fact check something that is blatantly a lie. For example, doctors are legally executing babies after they were born, and I thought the ABC moderators did. And by the way, the ABC moderators fact checked Donald Trump 3 or 4 times.
One more thing, though.
Yeah.
One more thing. But I agree. I mean, how do you agree to this? The other thing is the lady you had on, her name is Amy?
Yeah, Amy Tarkanian.
The Republican, former Republican chair?
Yes, correct.
You know, there are Republicans that have been Republican all their lives.
Mm-hmm.
There are congressmen, Republican congressmen, who actually spoke, ma'am, to the Democratic National Committee. They appeared and spoke there. And the lieutenant governor of Georgia stated that voting for Kamala does not mean you're a Democrat. It means you're a patriot. How can you possibly say to yourself, I did everything in my power to keep Trump out of office? You claim he's horrible, you claim this, you claim that, and yet you can't vote against
Well, again, Mark, I'm going to go back.
I don't get this.
Well, Mark, this is really important, and I've had these discussions with people on this show before. Yes, I wish Republicans that won't vote for Trump would vote for Harris. I keep saying this over and over again. You have to take that as a win. If you're a staunch Republican and you disagree with the Democrats and you disagree with almost all of Kamala Harris's policies, I'll disagree with you. But if you're taking the step to at least not vote for Donald Trump, Mark, you have to take that as a win. And I know that might be hard for you, and that might be hard for others that are listening right now. If you know a staunch Republican that either will not be voting in this election or definitely won't be voting for Trump, you have to praise them for that. Have a conversation with them. Tell me why you won't vote for Harris. But if they're not voting for Trump, my man, that is a win. And I had some MAGA clown on social media that just said, why didn't they fact check Kamala Harris about women bleeding outside of hospitals? Well, because it's true. And there are women across the country that have been telling their stories. There are women who have actually died because of Roe being overturned. There are story after story. And if you don't believe me, then look at the DNC, them telling their stories. Look at the stories across the country. There are women that have actually died because of Roe being overturned. There are women across the country in commercials that have told their stories about how they were bleeding outside of the hospital, in part because of Donald Trump overturning Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court justices. So when you say, why didn't they fact check Kamala Harris? Because what she said was true. She didn't put a number on it. She didn't say it happened to 10,000 women, but it has happened. There have been women that have been bleeding out outside of hospitals, and there also have been some women that have died because of Roe versus Wade being overturned. So stick that. 702-221-7283 is the number if you want to be a part of the conversation. And if you don't think it's true, look it up. There are women that have died, you clowns. Look it up. Women that, let me repeat that one more time so you MAGA buffoons can listen to me. There are women that have died because of Roe versus Wade being overturned. You call yourself pro-life. You're pro-idiot is what you are. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Courtney. Courtney is next on PTL. What's up, Courtney?
Hey, Brian. How you doing? It's Courtney from Brooklyn.
Hey, Courtney. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind today?
I just wanted to say on the question that you asked the brother about Trump saying that he was a criminal. Unfortunately, I've been out in these streets and had to fight that claim with brothers. There are unfortunately some brothers that are saying that they support him over Kamala because she was a prosecutor.
Right.
Secondly, a lot of them support him because they think he gave them the PPP money.
Right.
And I have to correct them there that it was Democrats in office, and that fool insisted on putting his signature on the checks just so that people would be
And
fooled into thinking that he did give it.
Can I just interject to what you just said, and then I want you to continue? I just want to add that those same people that took some of those loans that they never had to pay back are the same people that were so upset at Joe Biden for student loan debt forgiveness. Oh, my God, how can you do that and help out younger people that are struggling to pay off their student loan debt? But, hey, if I own a small business, I'm not going to pay back my PPE loans. They're the biggest hypocrites in the world.
Yes, Marjorie Taylor Greene and all of them got big loans. But I'm not talking about the loans. I'm talking about the stimulus.
No, I get
checks.
it. I get it. Yeah.
A lot of people think that he gave them that. And I have to explain to them it was actually the Democrats. The Republicans didn't want to give us stimulus.
Yeah.
And so, there's a lot of misinformation, especially in the hood.
Yeah. Listen,
and talking to people
I can make an
about,
I mean, I could say something inappropriate. I would never do that. But I could say that Donald Trump that was sending those stimulation checks or is the same type of stimulation, maybe the good idea of the stimulation that he's been giving Melania Trump over the years. But I would never make a joke like that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I digress. Go ahead.
And so I think it is important to the brother that was on earlier that we make sure that, we go into the neighborhoods and let people know. Because once I hit this brother to the fact that he had just put his name on the check and that it wasn't really from him, then he felt completely different.
Yeah. He was so proud about that.
In Missouri, plus the situation in Missouri, we need to tell people about that the police were tasing people and killing them.
Yeah.
And this fool's out here talking about a damn purge.
He's talking about a
He
purge.
wants to give them a whole day to go into the black community and start beating the hell out of people that they think are criminals.
Can you imagine, Courtney, 10 years ago, before the Trump era, if a politician, not even a president, a mayor, for example, endorsed a purge, it would be on the front page of every newspaper and every news organization. Unless it was a Republican, then Fox News wouldn't cover it. But for the most part, every news publication would cover something like that. Donald Trump endorsed a purge, and yet it's kind of par for the course with the stuff that Donald Trump says on a regular basis, right?
Yes, and it's funny because I knew he was going to get there. Next, we're going to have Hunger Games.
Yeah, you know what?
Because he's crazy.
You're right. My dear, you're right. Great phone call. You made a lot of good points there, and you please call back anytime. You're absolutely right. Donald Trump endorsed a purge yesterday. I'm not making it up. I'm not taking it out of context. That's what he said. How could anybody vote for somebody? I keep saying that over and over again. How could you vote for this lunatic? Oh, well, I liked his policies. I love the fact that when he left office, nobody was working and we were all locked up in our rooms. Boy, wasn't the economy great? I love the fact that he got us $8.2 trillion in debt. Isn't that a great thing? I love the fact that he used coronavirus press conferences as campaign rallies and talked about injecting yourself with disinfectant. These people are some of the dumbest people that America has to offer. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Ralph. Ralph is next up on PTL. Hi, Ralph. Where are you calling from? Is Ralph there? Ralph, are you there? Earth to Ralph. Ralph is no longer with us. Thank you for the call, Ralph. That's probably the worst call we'll get today. Maybe not. 702-221-7283. Let's go to PJ. PJ's next. What's up, PJ?
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Hey, good. What's on your mind today?
Well, I wasn't able to call yesterday because of Verizon, but I had a few things to say.
Sure.
First was about the rally in Pennsylvania. All his words were basically dark, extreme rhetoric that was totally disgusting, like his face. And
not going to hear an argument from me. You're right about that.
About Kamala being born mentally disabled.
Horrible.
Of course, he hasn't seen himself in the mirror.
Can you imagine anybody in this country that is mentally disabled? He has a history of going after people that are mentally disabled. My dear, do you remember, PJ, the journalist that he made fun of when he was running for president? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was back in 2016, where he mocked the hand movements of a man that was handicapped. And then the Republicans said, No. That's not what he was doing. This guy has a history of attacking women, attacking our brave men and women in uniform, attacking the disabled, attacking minorities. I mean, it's the only people he really doesn't attack are his billionaire friends at Mar-a-Lago, but it's probably only a matter of time, before he'll start attacking them also.
Right. And, with that, family members who have, kids or family members with disabilities, like I do. My daughter's autistic and she's 20, but her mentality is like maybe a 4 or 5-year-old. You see kids bully and make fun of others who are not like them, but watching a supposedly an adult, like he's supposed to be doing it, should make people sick.
Yeah.
But of course, the MAGA go along with him. You say, Brian, low IQ. I say no IQ.
Well, they don't have much of a brain, that's for sure.
No. And this is a person that they want to be president.
Well, these people, again, and you're right, my dear. I appreciate the call, PJ. Most of these people in Donald Trump's base are very uneducated, middle-aged white people that watch their Newsmax all day. They're brainwashed, and they're not capable of having a conversation. I had a conversation, not really much of a conversation, but some idiot tweeted at me today and showed pictures of the Harris rally in Vegas, claiming that, it was everything was AI generated. And you didn't see the VP emblem, for lack of a better term, on the podium. He showed a picture, but the picture was taken before the vice president, way before she took the stage. Before she takes the stage, they put that VP emblem in front, right there. They did it right before she took the stage. But this guy was so stupid, he didn't even understand that. And then he was like, well, where are all the Harris signs in that same picture that was taken hours before Harris took the stage? Before Harris took the stage, they were handing out a bunch of Harris Waltz signs. But again, these people are so dumb, they don't even know that. You can't even have a conversation with them. They're so stupid. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Dennis is next. Hey, Dennis, what's going on, man?
Hey, Brian, our savior. I figure if they can call Trump a God, we can call you our savior.
Well, I appreciate that, but don't call me Brian Jesus. We'll call him Cheeto Jesus.
Oh,
not that kind of savior.
No way in heck.
Okay,
no
good.
way.
Good. What's on your mind today, Dennis?
I was going to call you last week. One of my rip me off friends, the Mega Millions, put this meme on Facebook. It says, let's start calling fact check by its real name, censorship.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. How do you talk to these people, man? They're so dumb. How do you talk to them?
You don't. As far as the debate tonight, I think the coach ought to just talk to his students seriously. Talk to American like they talk to his students seriously and understanding, and let us know exactly what's going on.
Here's where I think I agree with you. Here's where I think he might have an advantage tonight. He actually has a personality. He resonates with people. J.D. Vance is dry as a doornail. He has no personality. He is awkward. Now, those on the right will say, "Wow, this guy Waltz is awkward." No, he's not. He seems like a pretty normal dude to me. I've talked to some of his former students. He seems like your everyday, normal American guy. Likes his sports, likes hunting. They'll call him a communist too. And here's a guy that goes hunting, but he's a responsible gun owner. And he served this country for 24 years. I'm going to tell you right now, if J.D. Vance brings up this stolen valor nonsense, boy, is it going to bite him in the butt. I think it really will.
It's going to bite. It's going to piss me off even more.
You might as well put out a couch right there in the middle of the debate. It's really absurd. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. My friend, I want you to call back tomorrow and let me know what you think about the debate. Okay, sir?
One other thing.
Sure.
On that 44-foot statue, it would be more hilarious if we seen him in a thong.
That probably would have been more hilarious. But I do find it interesting that the Republican Party, at least here in the state of Nevada, would still have a problem with it. They don't have a problem with supporting a liable rapist, but they have a problem with a sculpture of Donald Trump, which I think is pretty accurate when it comes to his physique. Anyway, I can't speak for his genitalia. But then again, Melania probably doesn't remember either because she probably hasn't seen him naked in 20 years or since they conceived Barron. 19 years, right? 19 years, allegedly. 702 thanks for the call, Dennis. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Ben. Ben is next up on PTL. Hey, Ben, what's going on, man?
Oh, yeah. I wonder if anybody noticed that when Donald Trump got on the podium in the middle of the hurricane, at the end, that when they said the prayer,
Yeah.
How come it was all for Donald Trump and none of them not one was mentioned by the victims?
Because that's such a great point, Ben. I'm glad you brought that up. I'll tell you why. Because they are part of a cult. These people are cultists. And it should have been all about the victims, right? Any decent, normal human being, if they go out there, which, by the way, they wouldn't have gone out there because it's more of a distraction, but you'd be talking about all the victims, right? Donald Trump talked about Joe Biden. He lied about Biden meeting with the governors. He was a distraction, and he made it about himself, Ben. These people are cultists is what they are. That's what they are. They're cultists.
Yeah, but shouldn't the preacher know better? You're supposed to be, sort of praying for the victims and not,
You're right. Ben, you're right. You made a great point. And should they know better? Absolutely. But they kissed the ring of Donald Trump, and they seem to endorse him selling Bibles. So should we expect anything less from the same moron who holds a Bible upside down and can't name one verse in the book that allegedly is his favorite book? It's ridiculous. Great point, Ben. Fantastic point. 702-2217. By the way, where are my MAGA callers? It's funny, all these keyboard warriors, I get it from them every single day. I get it from them every single day. They call in every single day, or they don't call in. They tweet at me every single day. They attack me. They call me a liar. They have no facts to back up their ridiculous opinions. But then when they have an opportunity to have a conversation with me, they're not capable of taking their little Trump fingers and calling into the show and having a debate with me and telling me, if somebody wants to call me a name, I don't have a problem with that. But let's have a dialogue. Why do you think I'm this? Why do you think I'm a liar? Why do you think I'm being paid by the left? I'll have a conversation with you about it, even though you're wrong. But you see, they don't even have the Trump courage, right? Because Trump is such a courageous guy to call into a radio show. They'll go into their right-wing echo chamber and listen to Mark Levin and Sean Hannity and Fox News and Newsmax, because they'll only have a conversation with somebody that agrees with everything they say. But God forbid somebody gives them a little bit of pushback. They don't have the intellect or the fortitude or the skills to make a phone call on their Obama phone. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Roy. Hey, Roy, what's going on, man?
Hi, Brian Roy calling from Texas.
What's on your mind today, Roy?
Well, not real happy with a lot of things you're saying.
Okay, so I appreciate you calling in. Let's have that conversation. Let's go one by one, right? What's one thing that I've said on this show that you really disagree with me on, that you don't like?
Well, number one would be the border.
Okay, so what did I say on this show? No, she's not. Mayorkas was the border czar, if we're going to be factually accurate.
The border czar.
Okay, so first of all, sir, I'm going to repeat myself again. You can look this up if you don't believe me. By the way, I didn't mention anything about border czar today on the show, so I don't know why you're bringing that up, but that's okay. I'm happy to have this conversation with you. You can look this up. The person who was in charge, sir, I need you to listen for a moment because you brought it up. The person who was in charge in Joe Biden's administration, who Joe Biden appointed, was Mr. Mayorkas, not Kamala Harris. It's not a conversation. So you lost that one. Give me something else, something that you disagree with me on, because that's just a fact.
Well, let us just continue talking about the border.
No, okay, what about the border? I didn't even bring it up today, but what about the border? Go ahead.
Why are we letting all these Mexican illegals coming across?
Were there any Mexican? Were there? Okay,
we were building a wall.
I'll answer your question.
Well, hang on. Can I please finish?
Okay.
We were building a wall, and quite frankly, if we were able to give all the border towns, the people that live there, guns and bullets, and the full faith and back of the government to shoot to kill, do you think that'll stop?
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. Okay, now I'm gonna interject. Are you telling me that you would endorse families that are crossing the border, whether it be illegal or not? You're endorsing people shooting kids and mothers and fathers? Is that what you're saying on this show, sir?
People coming across the border?
Answer my question. Are you okay?
Well, if that's what's going to stop people.
So you're telling me, okay, so you're calling into this show, and I just want to be clear because I don't want to misrepresent your thoughts. You would be okay with a bill put in place for all border security to shoot and kill anybody who attempts to cross the border illegally. Is that your position, sir? because it is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. You're telling me that you would be okay with kids being shot and killed with their families crossing the border. Is that your opinion, sir? Yes or no? Answer the question.
Let's just move on.
No, we're not going to move on.
Now,
You're going to, no, we're
there's
not.
a
No,
couple
pot
of-
him down. Pot him down. We are not going to move on because it's my show and not yours. I am going to ask you one more time, and then we can move on when you answer my question. Are you endorsing a proposed bill that would allow border security members to shoot and kill anybody that is crossing the border illegally? We are not moving on until you answer my question. Yes or no?
Well, based on that, then I would say yes.
Okay, pot him down again.
No.
Then you are a freaking moron is what you are. You are a disgrace to this country. For you to say that you would be okay with children being shot and killed because they're with their families trying to cross the border, many of them seeking asylum and a better life for themselves, and you would be okay with shooting a bunch of people trying to cross the border, whether it be legal or not, makes you a moron, sir. You're a moron, okay? I'm sorry, I can't have a civil conversation with somebody that would be okay with shooting children. What would you say about an 8-year-old kid, their father and mother, whether you agree with their actions or not, trying to cross the border? You're okay with a child being shot? Is that what you're telling me live on this show right now?
Am I on right now? Am I?
Yeah, you're
can you hear
on,
me?
sir. Are you okay with children being shot?
Well, I think that what would happen is when the word got out, people would
Oh,
stop
okay. The word when the
bringing
word
the Mexican illegals across, and then
gotcha.
families would stay behind.
Yeah. Okay.
But-
Well, that would be a great policy,
Okay.
sir. I think most people
Well,
would definitely
then-
support that. Shooting people that try to
Well,
cross the
then
border illegally, whether they're 8-year-old kids or not. Sir, that's a wonderful take on your part. Anything else brilliant that you'd like to bring up on this show? Thank God you're not a
I'd like-
policymaker.
I'd like to talk about a couple of Biden's policies, especially because of what just happened in the East with the hurricane. Now, Biden and Kamala are
It's
both
Kamala.
in
Why
favor.
don't you pronounce her name right? It's Kamala.
Kamala
Yeah.
are both in favor of EVs. Now, this big hurricane came, hit the East Coast, and if you don't have a gas car, you're going to get stuck. EVs aren't going to help, are they? Because you can't really plug it into something that's
So
not working.
should we shoot people that are driving EVs too?
Well, no, not if they're American.
I'm sorry. I have to go back.
How about
I'm,
the
so-
other-
I'm sorry. I have to go back to what you just said because I am just mesmerized. You're obviously a Trump supporter, right? You think that
I am a Trump.
you're right? Of course. What a shocker. You think that children should be shot at the border? Are you
Okay, can we
insane?
move on? I've got more Biden policies I'd like to talk to you about.
Quickly, go.
One of them is DEI. Now,
what a shocker.
People should get the job because they're qualified for it, not just because they're, a black.
Yeah. Why don't you just want to call them the N-word, don't you, sir? Is that what you want to do? Is that what you want to do?
I didn't say the N-word.
Okay, so when you,
just
yeah,
said that
I know,
want to talk about.
I know you didn't say it, but I think you want to say it, right? A DEI hire. Why don't you just call them the N-word? Is Kamala Harris a DEI hire, sir?
Well, I think she's more one that slept her way to the top than a DEI hire.
She slept her way to the top. How did she do that?
Well, if you go on the internet, you'll see all those videos of her with that black guy, the governor, I believe, or the mayor in L.A. And then,
so if a woman is seen in a
video all over.
so if a woman is seen in a picture with a male, that means she slept her way to the top, and that's your evidence.
Well, it sure the hell looks that way. Looks like she.
Are you married, sir?
Like,
Are you married, sir?
Yes, I am married and I'm
Gotcha.
a family man.
You sound like a
And I'm
wonderful
a
family
Bible-
man. Yeah, a shocker.
I'm
yeah.
a church-going Bible.
I wonder
thumper,
what the-
and, yes, I have one of Trump's Bibles.
Gotcha. That's not a shocker. I wonder if in the Bible it says something about shooting children. But anyway, has your woman been seen in any pictures with men in her life? Has she ever, other than you, has she taken any pictures with men? Ever?
Yes, she has.
Oh, okay. So maybe she slept her way to the top then, because according by your stupid logic.
Well, she's not the vice president or the president.
Yeah, but she could have. What does she do for a living? She slept her way to the top to get her job.
Well, she's a housewife, so I guess she did sleep with me to get to there.
Well, boy, you are a misogynistic pig, aren't you? You're a but I'm keeping you on the line because I just want to expose this is your typical MAGA supporter. He thinks kids should be shot at the border if they try to cross the border. He makes a misogynistic joke about his wife. What else would you like to say, sir?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not a business owner, but if I was,
shocker,
I would hire trans women. You know why? Because I get the strength of a man, but I got to pay him a woman's wage.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much for calling in, Mr. MAGA supporter. What was that guy's name? I don't even remember his name. Doesn't even matter at this point. Let's call him Mr. Deplorable. Thank you for calling in, Mr. Deplorable. Let's review real quickly before we move on. I appreciate any MAGA supporter that calls into the show that's willing to have a conversation with me, right? I do. That was Roy who called in. He believes we should shoot anybody who tries to cross the border illegally. Could be kids. He thinks it'd be a good deterrent. He also made misogynistic comments about Kamala Harris and even his own wife, and then he made a transgender joke. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Republican Party and the MAGA Republicans in 2024. Another middle-aged, ill-informed, uneducated white guy who makes horrible statements on this show. Notice, by the way, also, he didn't mention anything specifically that I said that he disagreed with. I never said Harris was the border czar because she's not. Mayorkas was the guy in charge. Thank you for the call, sir. Thank you very much for the call. Get back into your mobile home, please. And good luck with the 2 teeth that you have, sir. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. I'm serious. Like, these people are just some of the dumbest people that America has to offer. I appreciate him calling in and exposing himself. Not in that way that you're thinking, Numchuck. That's not what I meant. Let's go to Paul. Paul is next up on PTL. What's up, Paul?
Did that guy really just say that we're just supposed to shoot everybody that crosses the border? That's what he said, right?
He did.
I wasn't.
He did say that, Paul.
Holy shit!
Paul, he did say that. And I was even blown away. He did say that.
Oh my God! I can't. I just feel so sad for this country that we live with such deplorable, awful, morally bankrupt human beings. It's just that's horrible, Brian. I mean, that's just.
Even I am
surprised. How do you fix that?
It is interesting that he wanted to try to get out of it. You know, he said, "Can we just move on now?" Because he knew he was caught. But then he doubled down on it and he admitted,
"Oh my God!
I can't believe it. I can't believe it."
Oh, holy Christ!
Yeah.
Oh wow! I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh, I got to I still can't believe the level of. Well, they want to hit everything with a hammer, right? Law and order. Everything's law and order, unless it's their orange messiah and he gets a free pass when he's a felon. So
right.
That's typical.
Yeah, you're right.
I wanted to talk about that guy in Oklahoma that wants to spend $6 million on King James Bibles in their freaking public classroom. Like, what is that supposed to do? Like, teachers, I have to donate markers, pencils, paper to teachers. They want to arm the teachers. They want to ban books from being gay, but they want to put a Bible in the classroom. Like, what's that supposed to do, bro? Like, a guy with an AK-47 goes in there and he's going to shoot up the classroom. He's like, oh crap, there's a King James Bible. I just realized this is wrong. I'm going to leave. Like, what the hell do they think is going to happen? What is the King James Bible going to do?
I have no idea. I have no idea. You know, they can't separate church from state, number one.
God.
They do exactly what. Listen, I'm not a religious scholar, okay, but I can tell you that if you ask me what Jesus wanted, he wanted everybody to be treated as equals. He wanted everybody to be treated with respect, and this is exactly what the evangelical right doesn't do. They judge you based on your skin color. They judge you on your sexuality. It's despicable. Or people will call into the show and say they want you shot at the border.
But the guy just said, I have a Trump Bible. I'm a Christian, but I'm going to shoot people that come over the border.
It's unbelievable.
How is that? I love Jesus. Like, I mean, shocked, Brian. I'm literally, and I'm not speechless. That guy is an absolute piece of human garbage.
Well, he is, but these are some of the people that support Donald Trump. I mean, what do you want me to say?
Oh, my
some of them listen to this show. You know, some of them listen to this show, and if they want to call in, I'm happy to expose them for who they are. That is your typical Donald Trump supporter, Paul. Paul, I love you, man. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate you. I am just as shocked as you are. 702-221-7283. I believe John is next. Let's go to John. John, what's going on?
Hey, bro. So this is John from Atlanta. We spoke yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Hey, sir. I had Mexican brothers that came over to my house today to work on fixing my house. And I was explaining to him that America loves free labor. They loved us when they brought us from Africa, and Mexicans are okay when they get the free labor.
Right.
But as soon as they want to better themselves, they want to shoot and kill us.
It's so disgusting. You're so right. And, Donald Trump had many that were undocumented that worked for him. MAGA Republicans seem to forget about that.
That pissed me off.
Yeah.
When that guy was talking, I am praying that if this Civil War jumps off that they want, I hope I get to see him.
Let me be clear on this. I'm just as angry as you are at that call. And I'm going to put that on social media and expose him. But let me be very clear on this. When I say hashtag deport MAGA, which, by the way, is a trend that I started and it's happening on X, those are the kinds of people that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about your, a MAGA supporter that I might disagree with that, is selfish or whatever. I'm talking about those kinds of people, the people that chant, send them back, the people who say they're eating our pets and dogs, the people that say they want to shoot immigrants crossing the border, legal or not. Those are the people that I say should be deported. Deport MAGA.
Exactly.
Deport MAGA. Hashtag deport MAGA. That's what I want to see. Deport MAGA. Deport people like that guy who called into this show.
I'm so pissed off. I wanted to talk about the debate, and this Jack, oh my goodness, this idiot. It just, Brian, I saw how pissed off you were.
Yeah.
I was just as elevated as you were. I was like, why call in? You are such an idiot. You should just listen to the show.
But here's the thing. There's a lot of people like that in this country. Way too many. And they'll be voting for Donald Trump. We need to do our job, my friend. And we need to do our job in the voter booth at the ballot box in November so that people like that never get into office. I guarantee you, if you had a conversation with Donald Trump in private and you pretended to be one of his supporters and you talk like that to Trump, I guarantee you he would agree with you. He would absolutely agree with you. Yeah, I'm okay with shooting them at the border. Maybe with pellet guns, but still. 702-221-7283. Richard is next on PTL. Hey, Richard, what's going on?
Oh, not much. Brian calling from Las Vegas.
Well, thank you, sir.
And, they heard something on the news the other day that there's 400,000 known convicted felons in this country. How did that happen? And it's true, too.
Yeah, so you're talking about the reports that came out on those that are undocumented. Some of them happen to be criminals. What are your thoughts on that? What was your question?
People that come to this country are supposed to be vetted, and there's no way they should have let them in.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, and I do believe in this country we have to abide by our laws. We do know that people are in this country illegally, more so people that overstay their visas than people that cross the border. But as a whole, in a general sense, I would agree with you. We want people to come into this country the right way. Some people feel like they don't have a choice. I'm not defending that behavior, but what I will say is this, and I will ask you this question, Richard, in return. We had a border bill that was put in place, the most comprehensive bill in decades. MAGA Republicans like Mr. Lankford and Democrats sat at the table. There was give and take. It wasn't perfect. Both sides didn't have everything they wanted, but they negotiated. And the Border Patrol endorsed the bill. Why? They said publicly, while this doesn't help everything that we're dealing with, it is certainly a great step in the right direction. I'm paraphrasing. That's what they said. Donald Trump picked up the phone and he told MAGA Republicans in office to not sign off on this bill and to wait until he was in office. So while I think it's fair to give some criticism to the Biden administration, would it be also fair to criticize Donald Trump, who I don't think wants to take care of this at all? He cares more about himself than the border. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. They should, if you're going to allow more migrants to come in, they should negotiate and say maybe 1,000 a day.
Right. So here's where I will commend Kamala Harris, and you can tell me whether you agree or not. She has said that if she is elected president of the United States, she is going to get Republicans back to sit at the table and to pass this bill. So that's something I would assume that you would endorse, right?
Oh, yes.
Well, good. Then we're on the same page. Listen, I'm with you, right? We have a lot of issues at the border. Is it a crisis? I would say yes, right? Has Biden been perfect on this? No, I don't think any president has. Right? I want what you want. Right? But here's what I don't like. Here's what I don't like. We probably have more in common than what we disagree on. But here's what I don't like, and you can tell me whether you agree or not with this. I don't like the attacks on so many of these people. Like, for example, when Trump says they're Mexicans, they're bad people, they're rapists, and I suppose some of them are good people. I think most of these people, based on the stats, are good people that want a better life for themselves. I'm not saying I'm endorsing people coming into this country illegally, but all I'm saying is I don't like the attacks on especially the migrants, the Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio. I think that stuff has to end. Would you agree with me on that?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't mind me asking, Richard, because you sound like a very reasonable guy, who are you going to be voting for come November? You haven't decided?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so what's holding you back? Like what are some of the things going through your mind? What's holding you back?
I just wanted some more answers to the thing like the unaccounted children that's not accounted for. There's 325,000 of them. Yeah, they got to find out where these kids are at.
Yeah, well, I can't speak to that, my friend, but will you be watching the vice presidential debate tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, I want you to call back, and when you do make a decision, let me know, okay? I appreciate your call, sir. Thank you so much. He's right. Listen, we have issues at the border, but he also agrees with me. The border bill that was put in place would have helped. It wouldn't have been the end all, but it would have helped. 702. There's a man who doesn't want to shoot people that are crossing the border either, so I give him credit for that. Holy smokes. Let's go to Damon. Damon is next on PTL. What's up, Damon?
Hey, what's going on, Brian?
What's up?
That was 165 times I had to call to get through. That's all I'm letting you know.
Sorry for that.
I'm just saying, I'm happy for your success, brother, for real.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Since you don't have any matters calling in, I might be being converted, Brian, because that purge idea Trump had, you can count me as undecided right now. I'm for real. I got a few people, Brian. I'm like, yeah, I think that'll solve a few problems. But the thing I want to see tonight when it comes to the debate, I want to see somebody bring up, because I really haven't heard a lot of people talking about this, the 13 people Trump executed. Because there was only 3 people that got executed in 60 years in this country.
Right.
And Trump executed 13 to try to seem extra tough on crime at the last minute.
George W. Bush did the same thing. George W. Bush did the same thing when he was president. A lot of people, yep.
That's so cutthroat, Brian, and cuts to this man's heart. Yep. I will take lives to get elected. That lets you know just who he is.
Right.
And if you're undecided at this point, you're brain dead anyway. But hopefully they talk about that tonight.
Well, I hope they talk about a lot of things tonight, Damon. I got to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to the debate tonight, and I'm looking forward to the post-debate coverage on the Don Lemon Show tonight. I hope you watch, my friend. And I appreciate
definitely.
you.
That Lemon stuff, the interview the other day was the truth.
Oh,
Go
thank
ahead.
you.
I'm listening.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope you tune in tonight. And I guess we'll see, Damon, and I'd love for you to call in tomorrow and give me your thoughts on the debate. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Damon. We're working, by the way, on getting more phone lines here. I keep saying that every day. But our phone lines seem to be full throughout the show today, which is a good thing. But I want to get more phone lines so more people could be waiting on hold and they get in. So thank you for that, for your patience. 702-221-7283. Cynthia is next up on PTL. Hey, Cynthia, what's going on?
Oh, well, a lot. I'm calling from Texas, from Houston.
Oh, okay.
I've been, into politics for a long time, trying to educate myself about it.
Yeah.
I'm from Mexico City. I became a citizen like 5 years ago. I've been in this country for 30 years. I never seen what is happening, all the hate, supremacy that is happening.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Texas, for a sad way, they're imposing all their 2025 ideas in Texas right now, and people are not talking about that. The situation about the Haitians.
Well, Cynthia, think about this for a moment. Excuse me. Think about this for a moment. You've got Greg Abbott. Excuse me. I'm going to drink some Gatorade. I'm losing my voice here. You've got Greg Abbott, who is the governor of your state, who is a despicable human being and a racist bigot. You've got people in your state like Ted Cruz, who you would think would be on your side, but his policies and the way he votes would think otherwise. And when your state is in a state of emergency, if you recall years ago, Ted Cruz
Oh, yeah.
jets off with his family to Cancun, and it's why they call him Cancun Cruz. And you would think if your last name was Cruz, you would think that they would be on the side of people like you. But instead,
no, they're not.
They're not. Right,
And
correct.
even Hispanics here, we are the majority. A lot of Hispanics are not even, they're voting for Trump.
Right.
It's just, I don't understand why they're voting against the interest. I had to say something funny that I saw the other day. This guy from Mexico, he said, hey, why don't we call Americans European Americans? Because they always call Mexican Americans, Asian Americans, African Americans, even Native Americans.
Right.
They were native from this land. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to start calling them European Americans and deport the idiots.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. These MAGA Republicans, my dear, they don't seem to ever go after the white immigrants that come into this country. Why is it always the dark immigrants? Why is it always the Haitian legal immigrants? Why is it people with darker skin that they seem to go after? But, you know, somebody comes in from Switzerland, they don't seem to have a problem with that. And by the way, I love the people of Switzerland. All I'm simply saying is, why is it they're not going after those kinds of people, but they're going after the Mexicans? They're going after the Haitians. Why is that? I'll let you guys answer that question for yourself. Before I play another clip, or I should say before I take another call, I want to play another clip. So, as you know, the vice presidential debate is tonight. And Donald Trump is already saying that the debate is going to be rigged. He's already saying that it's stacked up against J.D. Vance. And before I take some more phone calls, since we won't really be able to play this clip tomorrow, I mean, we could, but this is Donald Trump at a disaster site of the hurricane saying that the debate tonight is going to be rigged against Vance. Have a listen to this.
I just believe when you see the end of that debate, are you going to let that be the last word of presidential debates of this season, end of your career, or are you going to want one more?
I would love to have 2 or 3 more debates. I like it. I enjoy it. But they're so rigged and so stacked. You'll see it tomorrow.
So rigged,
with JD.
so rigged.
It'll be stacked.
So rigged. It's so stacked. That, by the way, that was the very credible Kellyanne Conway with her alternative facts interviewing Donald Trump. Real tough interview there, by the way. It's going to be rigged. It's going to be stacked because he knows that J.D. Vance might be in trouble, so he says it's going to be rigged. He knows that he might lose an election, so he says it's going to be rigged. The ratings are rigged. The elections are rigged. Everything is rigged if it doesn't go Donald Trump's way. Let's go to Kevin. Kevin is next up on PTL. Hey, Kevin, what's going on?
Hey, how are you today, Brian?
Good. What's on your mind, man?
I have a question. You've often invited the MAGA people to come on and have a civil conversation. I, for one, am not. So I'm not MAGA. So our conversation will be at the same level. I have very good friends of mine that I served in the Army with and played rugby with, and they are MAGA all the way.
Mm-hmm.
But when the hurricane came, they were my first ones that called me and said, are you okay?
Yeah.
I can have civil conversations with them.
Sure.
How often on your show have you had someone come on and actually had a dialogue, a real dialogue, that maybe they came on and said something that you didn't know that made you go, wait, I have to look that up, and vice versa?
So it's very, very rare. Usually the MAGA Republicans that might say something that I didn't know or I can have a civil conversation with them are usually guests that I have on, people that are politicians, educated people. Sometimes I do get callers that I can have a civil conversation with, and you can go on my YouTube page at PTL Radio Show. I've had people on for 15, 20 minutes, and while I disagree with them, we don't call each other names and we have a civil conversation. But I'm going to have to be honest with you. My style and what I do, if somebody calls into this show, for example, and says they think that anybody that attempts to cross the border illegally should be shot, I am not. I cannot be civil with people like that. Now, if somebody says I like Trump's policies because of this, this, and this, I don't like Kamala Harris's policies because of this, I might disagree with them, but I can have a civil conversation with them. But if somebody is going to attack people because of their sexuality, is somebody going to attack people because they're a woman and they're pictured with a man, so that must mean they slept their way to the top? And if somebody's going to say that immigrants should be shot at the border, I'm not going to be civil with those people. And I get sometimes people say, man, you were too harsh on that guy. Well, this is who I am. This is what I do, and I can't change. And I'm not saying you're criticizing me. I'm just saying in general, I can't be civil with those kinds of people. I just can't, you know.
Well, it is hard. I have a lot of, being here in the South.
Yeah. Sure.
I do have those red hat guys that make no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the moment you start bringing up facts and facts and things like that, they begin to attack, and you're like, I don't really want to waste my energy on,
Well, I have to.
How stupid you are.
I have to, though.
No, trust me.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish what you're saying. Go ahead.
I love how you deal with people, and especially the idiots that do call in. And when you bring up things, I just don't understand. And I said this before. I don't understand how when you tell people certain things, they don't go, yeah, he said this. Yeah, I heard it.
Right.
And that still doesn't change your mind.
Because
by the way, if you go back about the whole debate
because I'll tell you why.
I'll
tell you why. Because they're brainwashed and because they're in a cult. And many of these people can't admit they're wrong about anything, just like their Lord and Savior, Cheeto Jesus, Donald Trump. Let's thank you for the call, sir. Appreciate your kind words. Let's go to Theodore. Theodore Doro is next up on the show. Theodoro, what's going on?
I'm not really into politics, but now I'm starting to get involved with it. I'm 74 years old. I've raised family here. Before I don't pay attention to politics.
Yeah.
But now, and then I haven't engaged in any platform, but I open my telephone and there you are. I watch you.
Well, I appreciate
watch
that.
what you have discussed and everything. To make it short.
Yep.
I'm proud of you, my man.
Oh, well, thank you. Theodoro, where are you from?
Where
are you from,
I'm
my
really
friend?
so proud of you because it takes a lot of energy.
It does.
To do this.
Mental energy. Theodoro, where are you from? And I appreciate your kind words. Where are you from?
I'm calling from Las Vegas. I've been here in the United States since 1969.
Wow.
Since 1969.
Well, I am so glad.
I grew up here. I raised my family here.
Wow.
And I hated politics. I never get involved in politics. And all I did was I raised my family, concentrated on it.
Yeah.
And now, like I'm 74 years old, my kids all grown up.
Uh-huh.
But now I got, entangled with this politics.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And it affects. And then I saw you how you discuss things.
Yeah.
I like the way you explain things.
Thank you.
And I wish everybody would see what you're doing.
Well, Theodoro, let me just say this. It humbles me very greatly that there are people like you out there that found my show, even people that are not really into politics like you, but you enjoy my show and you listen. And I'm so glad that there are people like you in this country, people like you in Las Vegas who come to this country and a good person, a good family. You sound like a nice family man. And I want you to call back, and I really do appreciate you calling into the show. That is why I love what I do here. That is why I love what I do, because I believe that I have the most diverse listenership in the country. I have all sorts of different people calling into this show. Today is a perfect example. By the way, that's the way I want it. That's the way I want this country to look like. Okay? I don't want to make America white again, like so many of these MAGA supporters do. I have people calling in, so much diversity, all sorts of different colors in the crayon box, people calling in from all over the country, in other countries calling in. I have immigrants that come to this country and make something of themselves. I have white people, black people, you name it. All sorts of different people. I probably might have more women listening to this show than men, which I think is great. Listen to Sean Hannity. Listen to Mark Levin. Listen to these right-wing buffoons that do shows in Las Vegas. You think they have any diversity? No chance. I have a diverse crowd. I have a very informed crowd. I have an educated crowd. They are aware of their surroundings. And yes, occasionally I do get a MAGA dope that calls in, but it sprinkles a little entertainment, for the show from time to time to expose how stupid some of these people are. Anyway, I want to end the show today on a positive note, so we're going to take a quick break. And here's what we are going to do when we come back. We are going to be joined by a 13-year-old. His name is Sam. He's an 8th grader, and he is very involved in politics, and his role model growing up, Barack Obama. I'm going to ask him why, And I got to tell you something, I wasn't involved in politics when I was 13 or when I was 23 for that matter. So I want to get inside the mind of a young teenager and what he thinks of the political climate that we are living in today. So this should be fun. I also want to remind all of you, please check out my website, pushingthelimits.live. Again, that website is pushingthelimits.live. We are an independently owned radio show. It means we rely on people like you to keep the lights on for us. So if you like what I do, please support what we do at the website. We sell merchandise on there, shirts, hats, beanies at pushingthelimits.live. There's also a donate button right on the front page. Doesn't matter what it is, $5, $10, $20, whatever you can afford, we appreciate. Pushingthelimits.live. We are going to be joined by 13-year-old Sam Ross coming up next. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. It's Pushing the Limits right here, KSH.
In these uncertain times, we need a leader who puts policy over politics.
I'm Ron Quince. I am beyond the bickering and what we see today. I am running to fight for your values, faith, family, and freedom.
Ron Quince stands for safe borders, lower taxes, and lower prices.
Let's take our country back, one community, one vote at a time. I am Ron Quince, and I'm asking for your vote because every vote matters. I am Ron Quince, and I approve this message.
Tired of the same old date night? Craving a deeper connection with your partner? O-Box is your escape into a world of romance and passion. Each month, discover a box filled with personalized surprises, exciting activities, and a love story written just for the two of you. Ignite desire, share laughter, and make memories that last a lifetime. Your O-Box journey culminates into a beautiful love novel. Ready to write the first thrilling chapter? Let the O-Box adventure begin. Visit our website, obox.com. That's OBOXXX.com and get started.
Have you ever dreamed of having your own radio show or a podcast, but just didn't think it was possible? Well, dreams can come true. Radio U. Radio U is a 5-day course that'll teach you how to acquire your dream show. We'll teach you how to host, how to write commercial, how to interview, how to market, how to write a contract, and most importantly, how to monetize your dream radio show. You'll learn from some of the best in the business with over 75 years in broadcast experience. You'll learn from people like me. And the best part? Every single student will be live on the radio as part of the class. Plus, one student from each class will get their very own radio show. You'll be live on the air right here in Las Vegas. Radio U. The 5-day course is being offered at $699. For more information, give Radio U a call. 702-763-5024. That's 702-763-5024. Or check them out at RadioYOU101.com.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on Vice Presidential Debate Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. And a programming note, yes, I will be on the Don Lemon Show tonight, right after the debate for post-debate coverage. So you're going to want to tune into that. I love Don. He's awesome, and I'm very humbled that he invited me on his show today. Also, the official gaming bar of the Pushing the Limits radio show is Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. Man, they got great promotions out there. The Pass the Puck contest for Vegas Golden Knights games is second to none. I'm telling you, some of the best promotions in town and some of the best lunches I've ever had at Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. So please check them out and tell them I sent you. I wanted to end the show today on a good note, on a positive note. When I was 13 years old, I didn't even know how to tie my shoe. I still don't know. But The very intelligent young man that's joining us in studio right now, his name is Sam Ross. He's 13 years old. He's in 8th grade. And he was just recently elected to the student representative for his own class, which is awesome. And he is a big Barack Obama fan. Sam, it is great to see you. Thank you for being here. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm good.
Good to see you. So when I was 13 years old, I didn't even know what politics was. What got you so interested? When did you first get interested in politics?
Well, when I was 4, my mom was like taking me out to like caucus for Bernie Sanders.
Oh, cool. That's super cool. Bernie Sanders is a good dude. Did you ever meet him?
No, not personally.
Yeah.
But
So what made you? So you're drawn to Barack Obama, right?
Yes.
I've learned that you emulate yourself after Barack Obama.
Yes.
Tell me why you love Obama so much.
Well, Obama is very honest, and he's like a good role model to look up to, because it takes guts to stand up in front of a bunch of people and speak, especially at the time of like racism and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It takes guts for someone of color to get up in front of millions of people and try to become president.
It takes a lot of guts to put yourself into public life, and you're
Yes.
out there. I certainly agree with you. Have your teachers ever brought up politics with you? Have they ever brought up Donald Trump?
No.
They've never. So because I hear a lot of lies is the word I would use from people that are on the right that say
Yes.
that teachers, I don't know if you've ever heard this term, indoctrination, right? What it means is they're telling you that you need to be a certain sexuality,
Yeah.
or you need to be, transgender, or they're telling you who
Yes.
you should or shouldn't vote for. Has that ever happened to you in a classroom?
No.
Wow, what a shocker. I can't believe that. That's unbelievable. Wow, I guess somebody must be lying. Well, that's what I thought the answer would be, by the way. So what do you make of 2024? You're 13 years old. This is, okay, I'm 44. I'm a very old man. But these are the strangest times politically that I've ever been a part of, right? And now you're living through it at the age of 13. What do you make of where we're at now?
Well, it's our country's just going downhill politically. Like, we're so divided over who we're gonna have as a leader. Like, you have all these Trump supporters and believing his lies about like the immigrants and they're eating the cats and dogs.
Right.
Like, Trump doesn't know a lot about tariffs either. He doesn't know that we as Americans have to pay for it.
You already, as a 13-year-old kid, know far more about tariffs than Donald Trump does. That's a testament to you, but it's also very sad, the mind of Donald Trump. I will say that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So what do you think of Kamala Harris?
She's definitely a better leader for sure.
Yeah.
She's more honest. She's more willing to support the working families of America rather than those billionaires. She's trying to get larger tax cuts for them instead of those billionaires who are making a lot of money.
You know what? You're a smart young man. You know what we need to do? We need to have a MAGA supporter debate you, because I guarantee you would destroy them. Any MAGA supporter, really, for the most part, that calls into this show. This is awesome. If you're just joining us, he is Sam Ross. He is 13 years old. He's an 8th grader. He was elected student representative for his class. He one of his role models, of course, is Barack Obama. Do you have any other role models outside of politics, people that you admire, that you look up to?
Well, since I play hockey, I like a lot of hockey players like Wayne Gretzky.
The great one.
Mario Lemieux, Gordie Howe.
You like the old. See, I like it. You like the old school guys that I grew up with. I mean, I grew up with Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux and the late great Gordie Howe.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. Do you like any of the current players that play today?
McDavid, Ovechkin.
Well, you like the good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met Ovechkin when they won the Stanley Cup Finals here, sadly. I went on the ice as a member of the media, and I got a chance to talk to Ovechkin. Really good guy. I was talking to his wife, and it's amazing how great athletes they are. When you watch hockey in person, you go to Vegas Golden Knights games too? Oh, that's super cool. That's super cool.
We actually went to the game where they won the Stanley Cup, game 5.
That's pretty special to be able to watch your home team win a Stanley Cup. But not many people get to do that.
Yeah.
So you're going to watch the vice presidential debate tonight?
Yes. Definitely.
What do you think about J.D. Vance?
Well, I don't think Trump even really likes him. I think Trump just said, "I need someone. Oh, I'll just pick him."
He listened to his sons. By the way, don't be like me when you grow up. Don't be someone who calls people names. I do that a lot on this radio show. Don't look up to somebody like me. Now, I'm not Donald Trump, but I was just going to say his stupid sons, but don't talk like I talk. Okay. I just don't like his family very much, but don't do what I do. I'm a bad person to don't do that. But no, in all seriousness, you mentioned the dogs and cats story because you're a smart young man and you understand, right, that was a lie.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, as a young man in school, what would go through your mind if you got a bomb threat?
Oh, I'd be terrified. I don't know. I'd probably just like stay home for a couple days. If I got a bomb threat, I would be terrified. Cause it might actually be true. We don't know if it's true, or it's just a lie. We don't know.
You're so right. Sam, what would you say to people your age in Springfield, Ohio, students that have had to go through that have gone to bomb threats? I mean, what would you say to them?
I just say stay calm. Just don't panic, because you don't know if it's real. But if it is, just don't go. Just stay home for a little bit until it's confirmed that either it's been dealt with or it's just not true.
Sam, have you had to, well said, by the way, have you ever had to go through drills in case there's an active shooter? Can you explain what that is like? Because I didn't have to go through that growing up.
Yeah.
We didn't have to go through those type of drills if there's an active shooter in our school. What is that like for you?
It's very terrifying, because what if we're doing a drill, who knows, someone shooting might actually break into the school while we're doing the drill. So a soft lockdown might turn into a hard lockdown.
Yeah.
And the whole school is going to have to shut down. Everyone's scared for their lives.
Do you think your teacher should have guns in the classroom?
Definitely not.
Tell people why. Tell Republicans why, because you seem to have far more logic and intelligence than so many of them.
Well, what if the teacher has a criminal record and they have a gun and then they turn it on their own class?
That's possible. Or a gunfight with the teacher. I don't know if that. I'm okay with security.
Security's fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. But many of these Republicans think that more guns make us safer, and I'm like,
not necessarily.
Yeah, and I don't really understand that. I don't know what that's like to have to be going to school at the age of 13 and have to do drills. And then when people ask you what is this drill for? Well, in case we have an active shooter or an emergency. Yeah. So what do they have you do? They have you hide somewhere?
They've had us hide in the closets in the classroom.
Oh my goodness.
And if we're in the bathroom, they make us stand on top of the toilet in the stall. It's terrible.
I mean, this is awful. And where are we at as a country where we have people like you, smart young students who have to go through this sort of stuff? And
that's what it says about the safety of you can't feel safe because there's so many people out there who are crazy with guns.
Correct. And that's why every day when I go on the air, I get upset and angry because I hate having to report on these shootings that take place and innocent people like you, in school, and your parents shouldn't have to drop you off at school wondering if you're going to come home. And yet we have so many of these MAGA Republicans who seem to be more concerned about indoctrination and teachers telling students to be, transgender or whatever. It just, I don't know, man, the priorities are messed up. What is the message as a 13-year-old, Sam? What is the message you would like to say to my listeners today? There's a lot of people that listen to the show. Hundreds of thousands of people listen to the show every day. As a 13-year-old living in this country, you're an extremely bright young man. What would you like to say to my listeners today? What would be your message?
I'd say just if anything's going on, if anything bad is going on, hateful stuff, if it's aimed at you, if it's aimed at anyone, just ignore it. If it's something positive, just embrace that. And also, if you fail at something, don't give up. Just keep trying, because you can build off those failures. Not trying, you won't get anywhere. But failures is the key to success.
That is really well said, and I can be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. If I didn't do a radio show, I would ignore everything that Donald Trump says. Everything. But I can't do that because I do a radio show. Well, Sam, thank you so much for being here. You're in 8th grade, right?
Yes.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but that means you're going to be a freshman in high school next year. Do you know what high school you're going to be going to?
LBA.
Okay, cool. Well, I bet you get good grades in school. That wouldn't surprise me. And I think one day maybe you could be the next senator, the next governor.
Maybe.
Well, I can tell you right now, he has my endorsement. So I don't care what you run for. You got my endorsement. Sam, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having
I
me.
appreciate you. And I know there's a lot of other very intelligent young people like yourself that, I want this country and the future to look bright. And I can tell you right now, it ain't going to look too bright if Donald Trump wins re-election. So Sam Ross, thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
That was awesome. We got to do more of these interviews. I really appreciate Sam coming in. That was a lot of fun. I want to tell all you guys, I'm going to be on the Don Lemon Show tonight. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that, the Don Lemon Show. You can go to his website. You'll see where you can find the show. I'll be doing post-debate coverage with him, with Mr. Lemon. And, of course, tomorrow on the show, we'll have all the post-debate coverage for you. Also, check out my website, pushingthelimits.live. Again, pushingthelimits.live is the website where you can search for merchandise on there that we sell, and you can donate on the front page. And thank you all for joining us. Please check out my socials, YouTube, @PTL Radio Show, X, @PTL Radio Show. We're TikTok. We're everywhere. Pushingthelimits.live. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Looking forward to the debate tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.
In these uncertain times, we need a leader who puts policy over politics.
I'm Ron Quince. I am beyond the bickering and what we see today. I am running to fight for your values, faith, family, and freedom.
Ron Quince stands for safe borders, lower taxes, and lower prices.
Let's take our country back, one community, one vote at a time. I am Ron Quince, and I'm asking for your vote because every vote matters. I am Ron Quince, and I approve this message.
Hey, everybody. Are you